ready.
Okay, here we are. We are live on the Merge Media Facebook page and the Fresh Crowd Facebook page. I'm Jay, that's David, and that is the traffic captain, Andy Wollmer from Traffic Partner, and we're going to talk about becoming a brand ambassador today. But to introduce this week's podcast guest, I'm going to pass the conch over to David. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Merge Marketing Podcast. My name is David, co-host and producer, along with my partner, Jason Hunt. You're listening to episode 50. That's right, 50. We are 2 away from making this a weekly thing for a year, which is so exciting. Today's guest is none other than Andy Wollmer. Andy has a very diverse cultural background. He speaks fluent German, English, and Spanish. And for this reason, he is well-versed in global markets and the special needs of different cultures. Every year, he attends more than 25 expos around the world as a representative of multiple global brands as their traffic captain, or in other words, their brand ambassador. Andy has won several awards during his career, including Business Person and CEO of the Year, Community Figure of the Year, and Affiliate Manager of the Year. Without further ado, the one, the only, the traffic captain. Andy, thank you and so much, and welcome to our show today.
Yeah, thank you. Make some noise for Merge Media. Here's the captain live from Germany.
Yeah. Yes, awesome. So for the listeners today, if you haven't guessed it already, we're going to be focusing on how to be a brand ambassador today, which obviously Andy is, and he is a very good one. So let's get started, Andy, with the first question, and that is, I guess, would you consider yourself to be a brand ambassador? And if so, when you think of the phrase brand ambassador or the role of a brand ambassador, what does that mean to you? What comes to mind?
Well, you need to see the history. I started as an affiliate. Then I started as an affiliate manager for a bigger company, become CMO, later become CEO. And the point is, every employee, everybody who works for a company is a brand ambassador. So, of course, my character is I always like to be on stage. I'm loud, you know, I do promotion. I like to be with the microphone. So, of course, this was something that was matching exactly my character, because some people in the company, they are more shy, so they do the back work. You have your developers, but like everybody who is in sales, he will be on a show, he will be on a convention, he have to do seminars, so he is a brand ambassador. And of course, I think I make a quite good job in it, because like you said before, I speak different languages, and I'm not shy in front of the camera, for the microphone, and also I have a lot of ideas to make the right mix between a sales proposal and branding, you know, because if you only say, I have the best product, I have the best product, I have the best product, then it's only advertising. But a brand ambassador goes the step further. He wants to get that the brand is recognized only by the logo, by the voice, by the product.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, Andy, like does it have to be a specific personality that fits that role of a brand ambassador? Or do you think anybody has that ability to be a brand ambassador?
No, I think this is some kind of character. I know so many people, they are nervous when they have to speak in front of 5 people. You know, you see this on meetings, you see this on the show floor. You need to be a very open person, and you cannot be shy. And also how to play, you know, sometimes I'm funny, sometimes a little bit aggressive, but never pass a certain line. You know, there's some people in the world, they're always passing lines, and then when you're overdosed in your message, then it becomes negative. So I had this situation also in my past, especially when somebody make an interview at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So you need to watch your words. But in general, you need to be an open character. And also, if you have a global business, you need to like to travel. And that's the most important thing.
I think, you know, and we've been to quite a bit of shows across the globe, conferences across the globe. where, you know, yourself and myself, Andy, have gotten on stages at events and got that microphone in our hands and started rapping or chanting our businesses, this and that. And you're obviously really, really good at it. And you've got a lot of charisma, and you're willing and courageous enough to put yourself out there on the line, because, you know, when you get yourself out there and you're very outspoken, you know, it can rub people the wrong way at times. So, but it's a matter of taking that risk. And I think that's key to a brand ambassador is the willingness to take those risks, to put yourself out there on the line. And maybe you can touch on some of those ways as a brand ambassador. How do you engage people? What's a good way to build that engagement?
Well, first thing, I always like that the company make good clothes. Also, when you represent on a show or somewhere, for example, the swag you produce for your company, you need to start with your employees. For example, I always made that the people in the company can choose the clothes they feel comfortable in. Like some people want a t-shirt, some want a shirt, some want a hoodie, whatever. But they need to feel comfortable and pick their own clothes and then do your logo on it, or your brand. And the next thing is your brand should be readable and on pictures, because now in these times with Instagram, Facebook, and a lot of paparazzis, if the logo or the brand cannot be readable on the clothes on a picture, then it's the wrong brand, because people cannot see it right away on the picture. But make your employees comfortable with their clothes. The second is the swag you give away to your clients. For example, a lot of people like sports. So like you see now, I have a soccer t-shirt or a soccer shirt today. And if you go to Canada, you put some ice hockey stuff on. Russia also, ice hockey is famous. And America, you can do football, American football stuff. And then, for example, in summer, you do baseball caps. And then, for example, when it's winter time, I have something here, I can switch. So then for the winter time, I got the beanies. So, it's fucking cold. So you got always your brand on it. You can read it in the camera. It's easy to go. So that's for me the first step. Have cool swag for your employees and also for your clients.
You're a walking billboard.
Let the logo here, get the logo there.
You know, man, it's one of these things, because I mean, Andy, I share that same sort of, I share that same sort of sentiment or appreciation for branding, and ever since I was at a young age, I always just would brand anything I'm doing. You know, I used to be into hip hop quite a bit, and I love the aspect of marketing my music more than actually creating it, because it's that marketing aspect and connecting it to an audience, you know, getting that control to get yourself in front of so many people at one time. And I think you've done a really good job of doing that digitally. Talk a little bit about those platforms you're on digitally and how you kind of grew that following.
Well, of course, I'm like 11 years on Facebook. And in the beginning, I used it, of course, like the most people, for private stuff. But then I saw that more and more people from our industry are on Facebook. So you can add, you can join groups. And then tagging, for example, when you come back from the shows, I had mostly like 100 pictures from all the photographers, and you're hugging with this guy and hugging with this guy. And then I put this picture on, tagging the people. And now I reached several times the limit of 5,000 friends on Facebook. And of course, I was deleting all this fake bots or fake girls or whatever. But still now, I reached 5,000 and this 5,000 people are real. So then I started a group to make my own group and make it very easy. It's the Captain's Business Lounge. And it goes mostly about events, so people can join. But I don't do it public. I don't want anybody coming in there and spamming it full with their promotion. And the other thing is Instagram. I started like 7 years ago. And Instagram was for me in the first moment only showing the best pictures of my life. But then, of course, you can also send out a message. And as my brand is the captain, and I really, the word captains come from because I love boats. I'm a scuba diver, I'm a snorkeler, swimmer, sailboat. So always when I put pictures, the captain on a boat, then it makes sense, and it transforms my nickname, the traffic captain, without saying any word. Any on a boat, it's the captain. So it's that is real branding when people don't need to think about it. It's, of course, I cannot compare this to the big brands, but if you see, for example, Adidas in the United States become popular through Run DMC because they put the 3 stripes on all their videos and they become popular. Everybody who see the logo of Nike, directly know what is Nike, and it's sports. And when you see Red Bull doing a fantastic, they do all the extreme things where you need to get the wings to fly, So you see Red Bull as a brand mark, and then you see all this extreme sports with having to do with flying mostly. So this is branding, that people see you and the picture and don't need to think what's the company behind. They know that's the captain. That's some kind of the branding.
Yeah, that's an incredible branding tip there. You don't want people to have to think about your brand or who you are. You just want to instantly have them recognize who it is and what you do. And so we've talked a little bit so far about what brand ambassadors do and how to become a brand ambassador. And I think for the most part, we're pretty familiar with what they do. They're at shows, they're at events, they're talking to people, they're hyping people up, they're just getting exposure for whatever brand they're representing and communicating what they do. I guess from a brand ambassador perspective, though, are there metrics in place to judge whether or not a brand ambassador is being effective? And if so, what sort of goals do brands place on these ambassadors to hit?
Yeah, that is a classical, when you talk to your CFO, he asks you, hey, Andy, you spent $25,000 on this party in Prague, and what is the return of investment? And of course...
how do you answer that?
Right. But this is very difficult because it's not like a technical thing. Of course, on the social media, you can, for example, put some subcodes, parameters to see how many people register on it. But for me, myself, if I put a link, for example, sign up at trafficpartner.com, and then I put /ref66667 or whatever, it don't look legit for me because I trust myself that I'm effective. And of course, when I built up other brands like SGM, I started these companies from zero, and I brought in thousands of affiliates. So I see that my way, how I do branding is effective, but I have not really the number of it. For example, now sitting in this show here and spending my time, I cannot say, okay, I charge $400 an hour, so you need to, this chat now needs to bring me $400 back. But I believe in the power, if you do it constantly, it has an effect, because that's how I'm successful. I'm in the industry since 21 years. I won more than 30 awards. I make millions in business with dating products, with mobile products. I have a camp studio. So all what I do is successful, and I don't care exactly the number, which of the medias was more successful. In total, the success needs to be there. That's the most important. But you're right. If you have discussion internally, especially in bigger companies, there's always a CFO watching about the money, and he always do the same question. And then I say only, hey, look how much money we made in the end of the year. Don't ask me for every single step I do,
Yeah, that's the key, right? It's whether it's you're promoting the party for 25,000 that you spent in Prague, and you're promoting it online, and you have all these photos and you're putting them in different places. It's increasing that ad frequency, or that frequency that you're getting in front of that audience, whether it be affiliates or customers or leads. It's increasing it across the board. And I think you're absolutely right, Andy. It's looking at that year end and not looking at the direct ROI from something, right? And we have that discussion all the time. And that's always probably a debate that happens between the CFO and the CMO, right?
Well, it's also, for example, the first time when we came out with SGM hoodies, I wanted the highest quality, and it should not print it should be sticked in, and it should be very warm, because a lot of my friends are from north of Europe or north of America. And one hoodie was about $50 US to produce it, even that we make like 200. So it was like $10,000 only in some hoodies, which I give away on a show. So, and it's 7 or 8 years ago we did this, and still I see pictures how people show this with proud and brand out my logo for free. And they are also influencers. So it's the the 6 degrees of separation. So if everybody of my friends get something for me that he show his friends, and this friends show it the other friends, so I got a reach which is impossible to put in numbers, but I have the effect on the long term. And especially also with Traffic Partner, for example, we brought out also our own Zippos, and because I'm a Zippo collector, so I wanted to have them 3D graved in with the shark, and it says always hungry. Of course, if you make a single piece like this, it's about $80, and we gave like hundreds of them away, but also to already existing clients. So branding have to do with getting new clients, but your existing clients, they make you already the money, and you show them, and they feel like this is my brand, you know, getting proud to be a VIP member. When I do this party and on the TS, it's like 1,500 people on the show. My party is a VIP show, have nothing to do officially with the show. To get a fucking ticket to come in, you really need to be close to my company. So this little things make you special, and people talk about you. You know, if you see, before this party, my WhatsApp is exploding of people. Oh, Andy, please, I have another friend. Can I come in? I have 2 girls. Can I come in? You know, everybody is talking about my company. And if you have 1,000 professional clients talking about your company, and then the business in the end comes out of it, even if only 5 or 10 new customers come to you, you make your money back. So it's a wise investment on the long term to always show your brand. And for example, I have a video, 10 steps to be a good brand ambassador. And there's one that says also, if you see a stage, go on it. Show your brand worldwide, which for smaller business units, for example, if I would be from Toronto and my business is only in Toronto, but there's different parts of the city. So go out there, and there's local, everything you do global, you can also do local. You only need to know where are the customers you want to find, and then don't be shy to spend some money in marketing and do things that last forever. For example, I see on many shows these guys giving away pants, you know, 10 cent. Yeah, they throw them away the next day. But if you have 8 years later, people still wearing your hoodie, using your Zippo, wearing your hat, your shirt,
memories.
Then you have a big impact for many years, and that's how we do it with Traffic Partner always.
Well, I think like you said, like that party, that's memories. I mean, that's another way, right? Those never go away. Those are timeless, right? Yeah. I think one point you hit on there, Andy, which I think is so important is, and what you do with say the parties, is that level of exclusivity that you create that makes people feel special. And, you know, makes people wonder if they're not invited. Wait a second, why aren't I invited? How can I get invited? Oh, you're invited? Okay. It gives that certain level of clout to the people that are invited, which is really cool. And I'm sure you're doing that by design. Now, you know, my next question, Andy, out of all of the endeavors that you've done with branding, are there a couple that stand out from the rest that were the most effective? And I'm sure you've learned a lot from mistakes that you've made as well, but maybe you can shed some light on some of the most successful initiatives that you took.
Well, for example, the party in Prague is definitely something that is legendary. We do this since 8-9 years, and like you say, people talk still. Even people ask me now already, you doing the party in September? Hey, come on, it's Corona times, it's January, September. But yeah. The parties, and also you remember when you worked with Grand Slam, and I never forget that was when we were with DMX and
Be Real,
Cypress Hill, Be Real in Vegas, and that was funny because in this time, for example, the Affiliate Summit guys and the Internext guys were not really a mixed crowd because they were more mainstream and they're more adult. So. And then everybody from the show, from the mainstreamers, from the Affiliate Summit, they heard something about a special party with DMX and Cypress Hill. And the years before, when I went through this mainstream hall of the Affiliate Summit, people were looking like me. Hey, who's this crazy guy in shorts and a cap? And he looks like a mix between a rapper and a rock and roller, whatever. And then everybody comes, oh, Andy, I heard there's a party, and do you have tickets? And of course we had tickets, but then I was also like picky, like, okay, what is your company? Give me your business cards. You do traffic and so on. And then I gave the cards. And on the party later, it was in the Wynot Club of the Hard Rock Hotel, we had about 1,000 people, and there were like at least 300 people from the mainstream area. And since this party, both industries mixed a lot of more up. And now when you go, for example, to the Affiliate World in Bangkok or in Barcelona, you see the same people. So it was like a door opener to bring two worlds together, because sports, music, events, they bring people together wherever they come from, you know. And it's the same with politics. When you go on a concert for Metallica, nobody talks about the fucking politics. Everybody is, yeah, rock and roll, you know. And this is something that events always have. And of course, this is some kind of marketing that only bigger companies, I think a small company cannot hire DMX or something and make a party in his backyard. But it starts with, like, if you have a smaller business in your hometown, for example, make a barbecue and baseball game with the children, involve family, bring people together for any kind of reason that have nothing to do with the business, and then the business come later out, because brand ambassador means also a social and social networking. That's social networking for me. And if you have one point together that you like sports or music, then to talk about business, that comes automatically later. Everybody, after 5 minutes, everybody asks you, and what do you work? What you work? What you work? Yeah, okay. You have traffic. I have traffic. Oh, okay. So yeah, and of course, the classical way is to go to events and expos. Traffic partner goes almost to all the shows. And for example, like 4 years ago, I started to go to the shows in Kiev and in Moscow. And before, I was very well known in Europe and also in US and South America, but I was never so known in the former Russian or former US USDR countries. And so I went to Moscow and Kiev, and I had speeches there, and I made parties with this guy. And now everybody knows me. And only some months ago, I won Best Speaker from Conversion Club, which is an East European community. And I had in Moscow on the MAC conference, I had my biggest speech ever. It was like 1,500 people in the audience, and they had even a live transmission or translator into Russian language. And you know, going into new markets, you need to show up with a nice booth or stand on an expo, because nobody see you. If you go only as a visitor, you make your rounds and see always the same exhibitors, but you don't let people come to your booth. So when you go to a show, also book a booth and show up, and have in Russia have two nice looking promotion girls is always good.
Oh, absolutely. There's just so much packed into everything you just said there. And there's a lot of good takeaways. And one that I took away was a lot of people, when it comes to their marketing and advertising, will make a mistake of thinking that they can put one ad up on all platforms and think that it's going to perform the same and that it's going to bring in the same amount of conversions. And that's just not true in advertising, and it's not true in branding either. The branding materials, the branding events that you do and put on for your existing customers have to be different than the ones that you do for potentially new customers. And that's what I heard you say. So that's awesome.
That's, for example, when you see the banners, let's say the new affiliate summit is coming up. You see every single company, they're using the logo of the event. Perhaps they put some faces of the people they will send. They put perhaps of course, they do the company name and perhaps the slogan. For example, I did for years, I was like, okay, it's a show in Amsterdam. Then my graphic guy formed me into a Bob Marley smoking a joint, and I left in Amsterdam. So there's a show in Hong Kong. He showed me like Bruce Lee. And it was Vegas, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. You know, this is an eye catcher to stand out of the mass, especially if everybody is going to the same event or to the same market. You need something that stands out and makes perhaps a little bit smile, you know, or if you have a short video, you need to get people smile, or they want to see what's happened in the end, because they. But if you start, hello, here's Andy Wollmer, I have the best dating products in the world, my CPR and CPL and my ROI, blah, 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 people already cut off. But I say, hey guys, I'm here live right now in Curacao and see you next week in Amsterdam. Make some noise. Then people laugh or they feel interactive, and it's not about your sales pitch. Sales pitch is always the wrong thing if you start too early with your sales pitch. Hello, my name is Andy. It's like in the dating, hey, hello, my name is Andy, and I have a 20-inch penis. Girls will not like it, you know? So if you start, hey, my name is Andy, how are you doing? You know, soft it up, you know, you need to soft it up. And also in business, see the clients like a woman you want to conquer, and start it easy. Don't go directly with your message into the door.
Let's hit on this for a second, Andy, because I think it's an important point that we don't want to breeze over, is knowing your audience, right? And the fact of, standing out, but also knowing the audience that you're trying to get after. And I think a great example you just touched on was, having that graphic design work done with you in Amsterdam with a joint in your mouth, right? So if people are going to a trade show in Amsterdam, it's known that a lot of people are going to be going to the coffee houses, right? So it's resonating with the actual audience that you're presenting your marketing to, right?
Exactly. I would not do the same on a Forbes magazine or on a other channel. It's something for this special event. And your, like you say, audience, and it match. It's everybody knows when you go to Las Vegas, it's Hangover. So if you use something from the movie Hangover, everybody is smiling. Like I put myself with the tiger, then everybody knows. Oh, I have pictures with Mike Tyson, and then don't make troubles with my friend Tyson or stuff like this. This is what people understand the message, and it's only to get interest. The point as a brand ambassador is to get people interested in your brand. It's not about selling. The selling is the next step. It's a brand ambassador. So I want that the people know my company. I want that they know me. And then the business comes from itself if your product is good. Because that's the worst thing. That's the reason I stay with Traffic Partners so much time. Because I always know my product is good. Because the worst thing is, you're a good brand ambassador, people like you, like everything, and then they test your product and say, I'm sorry. It's not so good, So you can only be a good brand ambassador if you have a good crew who create a good product. That's also a very important part. So thanks to all my guys in trafficpartner.com. You guys rock.
Hey, in terms of when you're a brand ambassador, okay, like, your personality is very much, I'm Andy, this is who I am, and I could care less what you think, right? Or is there an element of you being a chameleon where you are trying to be that person to match and fit with those people you are talking to?
It's a little bit different, because in the beginning, of course, I'm now like I am because I'm successful, I have the experience, I have the network, and I have the freedom. Of course, when I started 20 years ago, I was not like that. I was also a little bit quieter, and I was more easy to watch. I would never say stuff like I do now, perhaps. But the character was always there. I was one of the first Germans coming to the AVN show in 1999, and I came out and had a laptop and was showing my new products with a laptop, and everybody was like, "Oh, you have a laptop? Wow!" So, and I was 26 years old, and I was not afraid to flying over to countries like Germany. I was already in Colombia, Mexico. I learned the languages. My English still is not the best, but I always were talking, and people understand me, and that's the most important. If people understand your message and that you're real, then they like it and they trust you. And a lot of business that come up later were always, you're the guy from Germany with this cool product, or you were the guy who started with the mobile stuff. It's, if you build up one's trust, then you also can live on it for a part. But you always need to be real, and your product has to be always good. So, and that's the worst thing in life if you're a cool guy with a cheaty product. So,
100%.
That's amazing. So my last question that I was going to ask, I think you pretty much just summed up. I was looking for some advice from you to those that are looking to become brand ambassadors, as well as the brand looking for a brand ambassador. So what should someone be doing to become one, and what should brands be looking for? And I think you just summed it up. Be real and have a good product. But if there's anything else there, please feel free to share.
Well, the point is, check also what is your competition.
Right.
Because if your competition have also his style, and never try to copy a successful competition. You need to find your own way, because the copy is only the copy. So I had this sometimes that people try to copy me and they directly failed, because then people say, oh yeah, they do now exactly like the captain do. So for me I was lucky in my time. I find my own way, and there was not like the big example I could copy. But if you want to be a brand ambassador, be your own, follow your style. And if you're not the real one, then perhaps hire somebody. Because if you, for example, there's many founders of a company, they had a great idea, and perhaps they're a good technician, or perhaps they know their product and they're good in something, but you need to have a team. So if you feel you're not the right one of a brand ambassador, find somebody else. And if you cannot hire them because your company is too small, then hire people that do this for you. For example, there's a lot of consulting, or like you do, the guys do, to help smaller companies to have a brand ambassador. But if a product owner cannot do it himself, he need to realize that he cannot do it by himself, because there's nothing worse if you have, let's say there's so many CTOs. Imagine a CTO goes on a show and he say, yeah, when you do A plus 1 and 2 and C and D, people don't want to see this. So you need to have a team. And if you're big enough, hire your own brand ambassador. If you're a smaller company, hire somebody to do the consulting for you.
Awesome. That's amazing advice. Thank you, Andy. And Jay, you got anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, Andy, always love talking to you, man. It's always a blast, and you have so much charisma. And I mean, even seeing it as an outsider when we're at conferences and the way you interact with everybody, you're genuine, you're real, and people love you for that, and that's why they gravitate to you. And I think that is super cool. So if people out there want to get in touch with you, what's the best way they can follow you or touch base with you if they have any questions?
Well, on Facebook, my name is Andy Wollmer, like it says here. Then I have the Captain's Business Lounge. It's also a Facebook group. On Instagram, I'm Andy Wollmer. If you want to see my company, it's trafficpartner.com. I made a little Corona project called Captain.xxx. There you find also some private information. And check out my YouTube channel. It's the Traffic Captain. There you see videos from my parties, also for my adventures. I'm a scuba diver. You see my interviews also. So yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Andy Wollmer, the Traffic Captain. And that's where you find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. And we just have one final fun question for you. It's going to be kind of ironic seeing as you're a brand ambassador. And so if you could choose one person, dead or alive, to represent your brand, who would it be and why?
Ooh. Well, I was always a big fan of Hugh Hefner.
Hey, we haven't had that one yet, so we'll take it. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was, but I think also he was in the right time. Some things change over the time, but Hugh Hefner, how he started Playboy, how he built it up, how he, with 80 years and his best tube coming out with this girl presenting. Yeah, I really like that style, and yeah, that would be my choice.
Awesome, love it. Well, thank you again, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, David, Jay. See you soon.
See ya.
And make some fucking noise.
Awesome. Andy Wollmer. Love that guy. Love the personality. Love the character. Andy is a great guy. And that guy, I mean, first of all, he's got the dream job. Okay. He has the dream job. Like, who would not want to travel the world and promote promote a brand that they love? One of my big takeaways from that episode was the fact that it's so important that the product. You don't want to be that brand ambassador out there promoting a cheesy product, right? Yeah. And it's so important because you're going to come off as cheesy, right? So, but I also find that if there is a strong product that doesn't have that brand ambassador support, then you need to get it, because if you can get that brand ambassador feeling passionate about the product and really want to go out there and put themselves out there to promote it, you're going to find a perfect match for that brand ambassador, and you're going to probably see a lot of success.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there were so many good takeaways from that conversation we had, and that was probably one of my biggest ones as well. And I think one thing we need to figure out is what we are going to do, because I think we're lacking right now in the swag department. So we should really get on that and figure that out.
Hundo. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast channel. You can find us everywhere: Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher. Just go on there and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. A lot of exciting guests coming up, and give us 5 stars. That would be amazing.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk to you soon.